Om Bhurбhuvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayantam. So, namaste all of you. We have, as usually, our satsang online. And I have my computer in front of me, and the next question is about rules and regulations in Kriya Yoga. First of all, now is the 21st century, and reality is that we have a huge number of schools and ashrams and branches of Kriya Yoga tradition. And that's absolutely natural, because Kriya Yoga is the meditation tradition which is extremely ancient, and actually we take Yoga Sutra written by Patanjali, we take Bhagavad-Gita and Vijnan Bhairav Tantra, all ancient scriptures. If they speak about practical part of the meditation, they speak about Kriya Yoga. Sometimes, as we know, they call it Raja Yoga, Kriya Yoga, Tantra Yoga. That's just different names for the same techniques. And naturally, if tradition is very old and ancient, we have many branches and many schools. And it's very childish to speak that, only our Kriya Yoga is the proper one. Anyway, because we have so many schools and traditions, naturally different schools, they have different approach to the questions of rules and regulations, which are kind of must for the meditation practitioner. Just let us mention that some traditions of Kriya Yoga, some branches actually, better to say, of Kriya Yoga tradition, they are monastic ones. So they are part of Shankaracharya Sannyasa. That's mostly about disciples of Sri Yukteswar and Yogananda, and at the same time family tradition of Lahiri Mahasaya, Lahiri Baba. It's like family yogis. So some differences there, yeah. Then some Kriya Yoga groups, they more connected with the Hindu religion, though we know that Kriya Yoga meditation is outside of any religion. And just again, next to me, the wonderful books, commentaries written by Yogananda on Bhagavad-Gita, on New Testament, Gospels. And Kriya Yoga is a meditation which is outside of any kind of religion, but at the same time some groups there seems to be slightly more religious and even Hindu. And some groups are just as the pure meditation schools. In our case, so my Guru Yogi Rama, he was family yogi, and with the children, with the business, he was absolutely a person who was, perfect example of balance between meditation, japa, spirituality, and at the same time social life, family life, etc. And we don't have monks and nuns, and I respect all these kind of things, and as a Christian, Hindu and Buddhist monks, but I don't see any meaning in that. Let me I'm really sorry and I ask forgiveness for this, but I don't see any meaning in that. So then to become monk, Buddhist, Hindu or Christian is just a social mental game. You take initiation, you take special dress, special name, and in front of people you are a cool guy or cool girl. But nothing changed really. I mean to say, if somebody is ready to practice something like celibacy, brahmacharya, okay, that's nice, but you don't need to to proclaim that that you are a great saint, monk or nun. So no need. You can be outside of family life if it's natural. Okay, celibacy is wonderful. If it's natural, you can be a family person with the children. And of course, we have to be very careful about this danger that Kriya Yoga becoming really part of Hindu religion, which is absolutely wrong. Lahiri Baba was Hindu, but he never created Kriya Yoga as a Hindu tradition. And we remember that his disciples were like Hindu, Christian, Muslim, Sikh, Parsi, from different religious backgrounds. And my Guru Yogi Rama, he was also from South India. He was a Hindu, a person from Chettiar, Tamil family. And at the same time, his disciples, like different kinds of Christian, Jewish, Hindu, Sikh, from different religious groups and even Muslims. And so it means pure Kriya Yoga, actually not for the monks and nuns and not for the people who are trying to bring into Kriya Yoga certain religious rules and regulations. And yes, what is your question?
What about Kriya Yoga mantras? Are they not from Hindu religious?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. In the Kriya Yoga tradition we have actually meditation, which is Kriya Yoga itself. And also we have Bijamantra tradition, and that two parts is like the main heritage of Kriya Yoga. And Bija mantras are so ancient that actually they came into existence before any Hindu religion was born. That's the tricky question, how old is the Hindu religion? And my answer is that, you see, if we speak about Sanatana Dharma, it's, I don't know, maybe 1 million years old. Okay? But if we speak about Hindu religion, then it's something like maybe 1,000 years before Jesus or so. Because what is the difference between Sanatana Dharma and Hindu religion? Sanatana Dharma means eternal spiritual tradition, which is outside of any kind of dogma and orthodox religious groups. And if you take Bhagavad-Gita or Ashtavakra Samhita, greatest Advaita Vedanta scriptures, we can't say that this is a normal religion, just pure spirituality. We take meditation, it's not religion, it's pure spirituality. And Bija Mantra is the same. So it means pure spirituality. But actually Hindu religion, it's good structure, it's a good religion, which actually born as the reaction to the Buddhist tradition. Because when Buddha 5 or 6 centuries before Jesus, he started his tradition, he was very active and very successful. And for 5 centuries before Jesus and 5th century new era, it's like for 1,000 years the Buddhist communities were very active in India, and then as a reaction to that active work and sometimes even aggressive behavior of Buddhist communities at that time, so Adi Shankaracharya, he started to make good structure for the Hindu religion. So it's like Hindu religion is a caste system, which is absolutely unspiritual, because it's very unspiritual to consider somebody as the Brahmin, Kshatriya, or Vaishya, or Shudra just because this person was born in a certain family. It's very unspiritual. And in the very beginning, in a Vedic society, it was not like that. In the very beginning, teenager, okay, if this boy or girl was more spiritual, become Brahmin. If it's like more interest in the business, then Vaishya. It's like more warrior, like political minded people, person, okay, then Kshatriya. That was the original Vedic approach. But later on, if you're born in a Kshatriya or Shudra or Brahmin family, so you belong to this tradition. That's very unspiritual, because I spent years and years in India, and my experience is that most of the Brahmins, they're not Brahmins, because they don't have this quality of spirituality. They're cheating, they are aggressive, they are fanatical, they're not Brahmins. And I met many Brahmins who are highly spiritual. That's not the question of your parents, that's your personal stuff. That's the reason why we have this confusion. We take Bhagavad-Gita, and the question is it a Hindu scripture? Of course, according to the modern society standard, we say this is the basic Hindu scripture, but really this is a universal one. I may take a New Testament, and I have it also with me, and New Testament Gospel, is it Christian? I mean, in a sense, Orthodox religion. No, it's a pure, wonderful book about spirituality. So it means that religion is something social, and spirituality is something inside me, in my heart. Anyway, let us come back to the rules and regulations. And if you put certain artificial rules and regulations, what normally happen in ashrams and churches, they never work. If I tell you, come on guys, you have to be nice, you have to be compassionate, you have be kind, that's rules and regulations, but it's never work if your inner state of consciousness is not according to that standards. That's the reason why we take commandments from Old Testament, which is given by Moses it's like 10 commandments, and 9 so-called beatitude, from the Gospels, which are 9 commandments from Jesus. And the question is, how many Christians are really follow that? I don't think that many, but at the same time people say, we are Christians, but they're not following these commandments of the Jesus and Moses. So it's like much more subtle. My guru Yogi Rama, who was born in 1923, he passed away in 2006, and he was very special Kriya Yoga guru, because in 50s and 60s, so in the middle of 20th century, he spent a number of years in Himalayas learning Kriya Yoga directly from Mahavtar Babaji. He was his approach to the rules and regulations was very with a sense of humor, because his approach was even if I tell you that you have to behave in such a way, if that is not your inner state of consciousness, you will not follow. And of course we have a if you really have in your heart experience of love and compassion, then you don't need rules and regulations. If you have a really Buddhist and really Christian heart, then you don't need rules and regulations, because in any given situation you will behave according to the love and compassion. But at the same time, if you're kind of evil guy, even if I'll supply you with the rules, nothing will happen. What we see in all that modern Christian and Hindu and Buddhist groups and centers and societies, they have a bunch of rules and regulations, but it's nothing happen with the people really, and you go to most of the ashrams doesn't matter in India or in the Western countries, they're easily cheating people, they're easily fanatical, they're easily angry, they easily hate anybody who is not agree with them. And then what is the sense for that rules and regulations? And of course, if we speak about, okay, sexual life, if somebody wish to be a monk or nun, okay, let them be, though I don't have any understanding what is the meaning of that. If somebody wish to stay like celibacy, that I can understand if it is natural. But if somebody is a family person, then it's nice to make sex, and of course it's good to use sex as the part of as the tool to transform certain energy. But of course, for sure, no any good person will go and do all that bad things regarding sex relationship. Like nobody will make sex with somebody if it is like child or like with the force, you know, all that bad things. But the point is, if we come to the real spirituality, we don't need to make a list. It's like, okay, Moses told to the people, do not kill. That's nice to know, but you know, the modern spiritual person knows by himself or by herself that it's not good to kill other people. And maybe like thousands of years back, it was necessary for the Moses to inform people, come on guys, that's not proper to kill. But if we speak about such a things today, it sounds slightly funny, because if you're spiritual, you know that. If you need a list with a line, with a commandment that do not kill, then oh, come on, what the hell, what kind of meditation practitioner you are. And of course, the most for the people, a painful question is about diet, food, and Jesus wonderfully told us that, you know, it's not the question what you eat, the question is what you think and what is your motivation and what kind of action you perform. That's the question. That's much deeper than most of the modern spiritual traditions, which think that okay, if we are vegetarian, we are spiritual. Complete rubbish, because I spent half of my life in Indian ashrams and they're all vegetarian. Nothing happened with the spirituality for the people who are just vegetarian. I mean, if you think about great teaching of Upanishads and you try to contemplate the nature of consciousness, then real transformation happens. But if you're just vegetarian, nothing happened. People believe that they may become more healthy and strong. I mean, if we speak about physical health, just because they become vegetarian, nothing like that happened. Vegetarian people, they are not more healthy than normal people. Sometimes people believe that they become more spiritual if they become vegetarian. Nothing like that happened. Just go and visit all that spiritual communities everywhere, in Europe, the United States, India, everywhere, in Japan. Many people are vegetarian, but easily aggressive, easily fanatical, easily cheating people. That's the reason why we have a lot of scandals now in Indian ashrams, and I'm very happy about it, because in 20th century it was huge taboo. If somebody is Guruji, police will never trouble such a person, but a lot of corruption is there. Now even famous guru, they have problems with the police, and I'm very happy about it, because because really I know that they have problems. corruption. And they're all vegetarians, and so what? Okay, do not take me wrong, as normally I say, I'm not against vegetarian, I'm not pro. Just my question is, okay, what is the meaning? And if it is natural for you to be vegetarian, to be like, to practice celibacy, wonderful. If it is not natural, okay, you know, wonderful to be a family person. I myself is a family person, and you know, it's wonderful if people take that kind of food which they like. By the way, the greatest yogi of all times, you know, Sri Aurobindo, he was taking fish and meat and smoking cigars and taking, you know, a couple of glasses of wine in the evening. That's historical fact. What can we do? If you just observe the lifestyle of some highly advanced Tibetan lamas, they eat everything what is tasty, no vegetarian limitations, and they're highly spiritual people. That's much more difficult than most of the people think. It's like the same basic question: what does it mean to be spiritual? What does it mean to be real meditation practitioner? What does it mean to be real Buddhist, real Christian? Mostly people think, okay, I wish to be real Christian, and then they confuse that and say, okay, I put my cross, silver one or maybe golden one, okay, here, then I put some icons, then I go to church on Sunday, then I'm Christian. Nothing like that. To be Christian, you have to follow Jesus' teaching, which is not an easy thing to do. Just read Christian Bible, I mean New Testament. It's very difficult to live according to the Jesus, instruction. To be Buddhist, okay, you can put a Buddha statue, okay, incense sticks, whatever, okay, go to Bodh Gaya once in a while, okay, I'm a Buddhist, I have a Buddhist master, so I'm a Buddhist. Nothing like that. To be Buddhist, you have to practice meditation, and at the same time, you must live life according to the compassions. Okay, how many Buddhists are compassionate one? Not so many. And even now, Tibetan Buddhism, you just go to the all that YouTube, Facebook, watch all that videos, movies about Tibetan Buddhism. They're mostly speaking about political stuff. They're mostly speaking about social stuff, ethnic stuff, cultural stuff. Come on, they have attachment to them, all that problems, political problems in Tibet. I'm very sorry about it, but that's not Buddhist philosophy. I mean, they're too much concerned about political stuff than, meditation. So, rules and regulations. Basically it's a very subtle question, and it's absolutely useless to make a list of them. So we have just contemplate, and I'm always saying that two masters which are most compassionate one in the history of the human culture, that's Buddha Shakyamuni, and the second one is Jesus the Christ. And that two most compassionate. Just read life biography of the Buddha and read biography of the Jesus, which is gospel, 4 canonical gospels, and just think about their life, their motivation, and then somehow transform your life. That's my answer. Yeah.
But rules and regulations supposed to be help on the spiritual path, but it seems it's not the case.
You see, rules and regulations, really I agree with you, it's supposed to be helpful, but really it's just confusion. People think that, okay, now I have Rudraksha, I think, oh, I am spiritual because I have Rudraksha. but it's not possible to become more spiritual with Rudraksha Japamala. Sometimes people think, yeah, I follow certain rules and I'm more spiritual, but that's just confusion. It's okay.
Maybe it's because of misuse of rules and regulation.
Well, you are speaking about misuse. I may put it in a slightly different way. If it is natural, because you are kind, divine person, if it's just natural, you don't need list of rules and regulations. If you can't misuse it, you can't just, okay, you can pretend, okay, in this sense, of course, misuse, but it must be natural. And to make it natural, just contemplate life and personality of Buddha and Jesus, and then it's an absolutely clear answer to the question, what does it mean all that real spiritual essence? Because when people take Patanjali Yoga Sutra and then they say, okay, we have Ashtanga Yoga, and the first two steps, Yama and Niyama, that's all out of mind. The people ready to give wonderful lectures, what does it mean 5 aspects of Yama and 5 aspects of Niyama, blah blah blah. That's all clever stuff. We have to open our heart, and if our heart is open, then you just live according to the proper spirituality, morality, and that's the real stuff, real foundation.